Let's talk about the Bradley Beal trade and how it impacts the Chicago Bulls, because there's more impact than you might initially think. What is going on, yo? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking. Of course, I'm going to be here to talk about the Chicago Bulls. So if you're a Bulls fan, please hit that big red subscribe button down below. Please make sure you're following me on all my social media platforms, guys. And as always, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so let's talk about this, people. So Bradley Beal in a blockbuster trade got shipped off to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, a couple of second-round picks, and a couple of pick swaps. I got to tell you, just based off my initial reaction to the trade, I thought the Wizards got absolutely fleeced. I thought the Suns won this trade, even though they didn't need Bradley Beal because he's kind of redundant for what they already have, which is, volume scoring in KD and Book. But at the end of the day, you're getting Bradley Beal for, which I thought was essentially a free price tag because they didn't really give up anything of value, right? You're giving up Landry Shamet, not remotely valuable, and you're giving up a 38-year-old Chris Paul, which you were going to waive him anyway, and then we're talking second-round picks and pick swaps. So they didn't have to give up much. So I know this might not be like exactly what the Suns needed, but when you're getting a talented player like Bradley Beal for nothing, you got to make that trade every single time. And yeah, for the Wizards, I don't know why they couldn't, get a better return. Yeah, I know that Bradley Beal had a no trade clause in his contract, and he could essentially dictate where he gets to go. But you still could play the waiting game if the Suns are the team that he wants to go to, right? Like you could still, not fold completely if you are the Wizards. It was just a bad return to me. It's just a bad return. Not even a first-round pick. I mean, forget a young player, but not even a first-round pick like that is a pathetic return. As far as how this impacts the Bulls, Zach LaVine is kind of the direct comp here because we could be looking to move Zach LaVine, right? And he is similar to Bradley Beal, a volume scorer, but he's younger, doesn't have that much of a massive contract like Bradley Beal does, and he doesn't have that no trade clause. So I certainly think if the Bulls were to move LaVine, they would get a considerably better offer than what Beal got. And if we didn't fire this front office right now, if you trade Zach LaVine and you got the return that the Wizards got for Bradley Beal, I want everybody fired, aka the entire front office. But I don't foresee that to be the case. In fact, the price tag, I think, is set for LaVine. I think they're probably going to want, and then Casey Johnson reported, ideally a young player, first-round picks, and salary fillers. So, first and foremost, this is not good for the Bulls because Beal went for so little, but hopefully it shouldn't impact what we get for Zach, all right? But obviously, if you got more for Beal, it would have been better. But the other thing I want to focus on, which I don't think a lot of people have heard talk about this, is the fact that now the Wizards are clearly in rebuild mode, all right, which they should have done a while back before even giving Beal this monstrosity of a contract. But because they're in win now mode, that means that their two other kind of veteran pieces in Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis, they're going to be available. Now, Kuzma is going to be pretty much a free agent. I think he's going to declare his player option, and I think Porzingis as well. But even if they don't, the Wizards are going to look to trade him. They're not going to want to keep him. What's the point of trading Bradley Beal and keeping those two guys? Well, Porzingis and Kuzma, if the Bulls, again, decide to run it back, which it looks like they're going to try to do, Kuzma and Porzingis kind of fit what we need on this team. Not to a T, not saying it's a perfect fit, but you need a power forward, which is what Kyle Kuzma is. He can stretch the floor, and he's certainly better than Patrick Williams. And then Porzingis is another guy who, again, he can stretch the floor, probably more of a center, but he can play the four, and you'd have size. Both of these guys also provide size. They provide size, positionality, shooting. You need all those things. I would like the defense to be better, but, you can't have everything. And so, there's a possibility where we acquire these guys. It's not going to be easy, but it could be via sign and trade, right? Certainly, because in free agency, they're going to command a lot of money. So are you ready to pay top dollar for these guys? Because you actually don't even have cap space. You can only use your mid-level exception. So it's actually got to be a sign and trade. It's a slim chance, but just putting it out there that Kuzma and Porzingis could be available. But yeah, overall, that's kind of what I saw from this Beal trade, that could be a possibility. But man, really, really hope if we do decide to move on from Zach LaVine that what the Wizards got is not the return that the Bulls get. So we'll see here. But yeah, some interesting things popping up from this Bradley Beal trade. Let me know what you guys think, man. Leave a comment down below. Agree or disagree as always.